Well, Gooch, the time has finally arrived to talk about the greatest home console system of all time. The number one system
Wait, DB, calm down.
What?
We're not at number one.
Yeah, we are.
No, we're doing number two. This is number two.
You're shitting me.
Not shitting you. No, not at all. Remember the PlayStation?
Yeah, that was number 3. And now we're talking about number 2.
Number 2. Okay, thank you.
That's right.
Now, do you still want to announce the number 2 system of all time?
It is the Super Nintendo.
That's lame. Just the Super Nintendo? This is the Super Nintendo. Play it loud.
What's your point?
Where the hell were you on August 13th, 1991?
I was playing my Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis? You should have been playing a Super Nintendo.
That piece of shit?
You're a piece of shit!
It's on, bitch! Bring it on!
Woo! Okay. Alright.
Seriously though,
Yeah.
Gooch. The number 2 system of all time is the SNES, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. At number 2, this bad boy is the shit. Explain to our viewers at home why the SNES at number 2 is the shit.
Well, our number 2 system of all time is the shit for lots of different reasons. One being that it sold 49 million units.
Very impressive.
Yes. Another reason is 3 words. Super Mario World.
Nintendo knew they had to follow up their video game masterpiece, Super Mario Bros. 3, back on the regular Nintendo, and debatable as the best video game ever made. How does Nintendo do this? They give us Super Mario World.
Yes, now, Super Mario 3 might have had Fred Savage and the Wizard, but Super Mario World was so great, it didn't even need it.
It was 16-bit.
Yes, it sold 20 million units, the best-selling game on the system.
And not a game you could beat in one sitting. It was a game you had to save and plan your way through. Unless you used cheat codes, like some cheating-ass bastard I know. Gooch. Anyways, moving on.
You're a piece of shit! Jeez!
The SNES,
About a
noted
kg,
as
God.
the best-selling console of the 16-bit era. Why, Gooch? Why? I'm going to tell you why. Don't even open your mouth. I'm going to tell you why. It outsold the Sega Genesis. It outsold the TurboGrafx 16. 2 very good consoles. In fact, the Sega Genesis making our list. But the SNES outsold them, even combining their numbers. Super Nintendo still comes out on top, crowning it the king of the 16-bit era.
Now, back in the day, back in 91, if you wanted to enjoy this gaming masterpiece, do you know how much you had to pay?
$650.
It's not a goddamn Neo Geo. Jeez. Sheesh. No. $200.
What does that $200 get you?
Well, it gets you, of course, a Super Nintendo. You get 2 controllers and a game. Super Mario World.
Now, if that wasn't enough for all those maniacs out there that loved the SNES, you also had 4 other launch games to choose from. You had F-Zero, you had Pilot Wings, you had Sim City, and you had Gradius 3. Combined with Super Mario World, Gooch, that's 5 launch games right there for the taking. Very unheard of nowadays.
Yes, that's 5 kick-ass launch games. 5 stellar games that came out at launch.
Other great games include Legend of Zelda Activated Final Fantasy 2 and 3, also known as 4 and 6, Secret of Mana, Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time, Contra 3, Mega Man X, Chrono Trigger, Killer Instinct, Super Castlevania, Super Metroid, Super Girls Go, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario All-Star, Super Punch-Out, and Super Gush's Mom.
What the fuck did you just say?
Legend of Zelda Activated Final Fantasy 2 and 3,
Stop,
Super
wait,
Man.
okay, hey. Rhetorical.
Okay.
Now, like its predecessor, the Super Nintendo was not without accessories and peripherals. Some we'd like to mention are the Super Scope 6, which is somewhat like a Lycan.
This is the so cool.
Hey, wait, DB, I can't understand you. You're like mumbling or something.
No, I spent my time
Well, I-
that read the Super
list.
Nintendo game so that I do an obligation eyes.
Train your tongue.
How's it?
Okay, alright. I'm gonna go on, alright? Anyway,
That's no big. Just keep going. Don't
yeah,
mind me.
okay, whatever. And we had Mario Paint, which wasn't really an add-on so much. We had the Super Nintendo mouse, but you could create pictures and simple animations, and even had a music editor, which let you kind of create your own tunes. It was pretty innovative for the time, especially on a home console. And we also saw the Super Game Boy. This was somewhat like a cartridge that had a hole in it that you put your Game Boy games into. You can actually play your Game Boy games on your television through your Super Nintendo, even using your Super Nintendo controller. It was really cool for people that didn't have a Game Boy, or if you wanted to let someone borrow a Game Boy game, or whatever. I really liked it. I had one, and... Wait, hey. Are you alright, man? Are you alright?
Fuck you.
Oh, whew.
You alright, man? Did I piss you off or something?
No, I
I'm
was
really
choking
sorry.
on that ice cube. I'm fine. It's out of me now. That and my lunch, but that's all right. I'll clean it up later.
Next time you're choking, you should say something. I mean, I'm not a mind reader.
I'll do my best next time.
Okay, anyway, since you're not dead, we're going to move on. Let's talk about how the Super Nintendo lasted into the 32-bit era, competing with the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. Now, not to be outdone by these fancy 3D graphics by these 32-bit systems, the Super Nintendo had some games that were released with the FX chip, most notably Star Fox. This was a space game where you flew your ship around in 3D.
Terrible artwork on the cover, but a hell of a game nonetheless.
Yes, absolutely. Another game that really kicked ass was Donkey Kong Country. Using ACM, or Advanced Computer Modeling, this game was a 2D platformer, but looked just as good as anything you might find on the 32-bit systems.
Not only that, Gooch, but when Donkey Kong Country was released and people saw the graphics with their own eyes, it gave the SNES second wind, and even a second breath of life if you want to look at it that way. And that's what extended it well beyond its prime. In 1997, Nintendo went back to the drawing boards yet again. And we haven't heard this half a dozen times already. But they went back to the drawing boards to redesign the SNES to make it smaller, and then lowering the price of the Super Nintendo itself. For $100, you got yourself the brand new SNES and a copy of Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, extending the life of the SNES just for a couple of more years, until finally in 1999, the Super Nintendo was retired from active duty, ending its 8-year masterpiece run. For our final thoughts of the day, we turn to the wisdom of the Gooch. Gooch, if you please.
Okay, thank you for those dramatics. That
You are
wasn't
welcome.
even out of place at all, weirdo. Now, the Super Nintendo is number 2 on our list.
Oh,
We consider the SNES to be the second greatest console of all time. That began in 91 as the successor to the regular, ordinary Nintendo.
I might have shit my pants.
It is considered by many to be the king of the 16-bit era.
You smelling this, Gooch?
It lasted roughly 8
Fancy me,
years.
get a load of that.
A lot of great games were continued
Smells like
from the
bacon.
Nintendo over to the Super Nintendo.
Greasy,
And I even
salty
lived past
bacon!
it, going on to the 64,
With the
GameCube,
chocolate in my
and etc.
shorts!
Now,
Oh, do I love bacon.
hey, you can't keep talking while I'm talking. You gave me the mic, you said conclude, I said okay. That's not even polite.
Have a great day, folks. We'll see you next time.
I wasn't even done.